How many of you guys are done after this, math-wise?
I think so.
Done. That's the majority. How many of you have more after this? Tell me what you have after this. JC, what do you got? 241 calc, business calc? Yeah. Who else has 241? A few of you. That makes sense. That's probably the JC. Anybody have 245? Does anybody need that course? 245. And it got canceled this term on you guys, I noticed. I don't know if you're going to take it this term or not. Okay. It got canceled. It's a weird course. Well, anyway, it's not that important. We'll have it for you this spring if you want to take it then. So 241, 245. Anybody taking other like research methods classes that you know of? Yeah. You guys got that? Yeah. Some of you? Yep, you guys probably do, I'm assuming. Which is good. Because we do a little bit of that in here, but the vast majority is not this because you need an entire class to know how to randomly sample, to draw a proper sample when it comes. We'll do some sampling in here amongst you guys, but you'll realize pretty quickly how woefully inadequate it would be to do those methods. Like if you were trying to study like drugs side effects, you wouldn't do the way we sample in here, obviously, because you would be sued and you wouldn't have a job anymore. It works great for what we're talking about, to collect quick data to test and to see what's going on, but it does not work well for, like I said, keeping your job. So you'll take that class and figure all that good stuff out. So research methods, anybody taking like 371 or 370 that you know of? That might get foisted on you in a year or so. Oh, guess what? You're not done. In which case, that's great, because it's more of this, but even more of this. I said the same thing twice, didn't I? Yeah. It's like the next level of this. Top stat 3 or 4. So anyway, but most of you are done. Yeah, most of you are done. We'll try to make it as little pain as possible. It is a good class. It's a logical connection to 243. In much the same way, if you had me, about, it's like 2/3 of you had me for 243 at some point. And much in the same way I do 243, I try to take a lot of the mathy math out of this course and replace it with more of a conceptual understanding. I don't remove the math from the course like I didn't in 243 either, but there wasn't a whole lot. How many formulas did we do in 243? Do you remember? How many did I make you do? 3 maybe. 2, I would call it 2 because I would almost guarantee we could group 2 of those into one. Finding an average and a z-score. Honestly, that was it. Everything else we used technology to do. I did make you calculate a standard deviation once by hand, but after the dry heating we stopped doing that too because it doesn't make sense to do it by hand every time. And that's even more so with this course. The formulas that make up what's in 244, even more so, are less intuitive, although they do tie back. One of the reasons I had you guys calculate z-scores by hand is because almost every single formula in this course ties into that idea of a z-score. And you'll see that. I will make you do a few by hand in the beginning, and then we'll work away from that. Because once you get the point of it, you just don't need to do it over and over again. Much in the same way that once you make a phone call, you don't have to go back to using 2 cans and a string to call your friend anymore. You can then use your cell phone and realize, oh, it works. And I don't have to know why exactly, I just know it works. So, but you will know why. But then once you know why, we move on. So anyway, part the second, prop stat. Welcome, welcome. Majors, who do I have in here? I know I have the business majors because you guys are taking 241. Other majors, remind me, because I've asked you this before. HDFS. Yes, HDFS. Natural resources. Natural resources, on this time. Nurses. Yes, that's a new recruit. Oh, 244 is not though. Bless you two for coming in anyway. Yes, because the 243 are coming back. More bad jokes, good. Don't tell me. Psychology. Yes, psychology. Sociology. Yes. Any other ologies? I don't think biology requires this. Pre-meds? Anybody got any pre-meds in here? No? Who else? Who am I forgetting?
Teaching. Architecture.
Architecture. Badass. Totally. So trig and calc 2 plus this. Nice. Very cool. We got education? That's fantastic. Yes, thank you, Megan. Very nice, very nice. Good. Who else? Who else am I forgetting? Okay, that's everybody.
Engineering code?
Engineer? Oh, that's excellent. Are engineers required to take this yet? I had a friend, mechanical engineer from Delaware originally, who's in Philadelphia now, or Jersey now, and he used to laugh at me. He used to laugh at me when I said, do you ever apply statistics and probability to your building? He's like, no, I use real math. Which is hilarious because now the engineers are now being required. The engineering program over at OSU now has their own probability class that goes with their engineering. And I called up Joe about a year ago. I'm like, so you still hate prob? He's like, I still despise it. And I'm like, you're the only one, right? Anyway, please.
Speech pathology.
That's excellent.
It's not here,
But they want you to take both of those stat classes. That's fantastic. Do you guys know why? More and more, because think about the topics that we're just talking about. Speech pathology, sociology, psychology, education, engineering. They have really nothing to do with each other as far as maybe underlying currents, but as far as when you get up in the food chain of your junior and senior and graduate years, why are you all taking these classes? For fun. I'd like to hear that. That makes me happy too. But why would they make you take it? Not for fun, but for a reason. Please, Kate.
Well, it makes you think outside the box. You're not one of those people that just, you see a statistic and you believe it, and it makes you question it.
I think you hit two things with that statement, actually. She said, makes you think outside the box, which is definitely true, especially the way I come at these courses, because they're not like normal courses. I mean, nowhere in a math course have you had to read paragraphs before and then process that. So it definitely makes you think outside the box. And I love the second thing, when you read a statistic, as I read my course evaluations from last term, student after student said, I can't watch the news the same way anymore. Because now I have to critically think about everything they say, and is that valid? Was that drawn randomly? And all these wonderful, very true. And I think, somebody else had a hand up, is why we take these courses? Christina, was it you? No?
Oh, I was just going off on my own, because being able to understand statistics is just important to the world, no matter what major you're in, because there's always some in every field.
Every field publishes papers, most likely. Psych and Soc come to mind immediately, HDFS does too. But nurses, being able to comprehend when drug studies come out, are they legit? Were they done legitimately? You often hear about drug studies that are overturned. As you'll learn in this course, that's a necessary evil. That has to happen. You have to have things overturned. That's why it's called probability. Things probably do this, but sometimes they do this. And that sometimes they do this is why studies get overturned sometimes. We'll talk about that more in depth over the next 10 weeks. But yeah, there's a whole host of journal writers and journal writing and journal database content out there. And in all honesty, most of you aren't going to be doing statistics every day of your careers. You'll be doing statistics occasionally, but you'll be consuming it daily if you aren't already. If you are, and you are, without even realizing it, you're consuming it daily. And that's why I think this course is being shoved down the pipe for so many other majors. Not just to torture you, although that's part of it. But honestly, for a good point, for what these guys just said, these three things I think are crucial. Don't accept the world as it comes at you. If there's some other alternate reasonings, the fact that you have to digest all of that, and then being able to think creatively. I often say that Sputnik is over when I talk about math education with my peers. Sputnik is over. The Russians got to space first. Sorry, they were the Soviets then. And I say that half jokingly and half really, because calculus is still the thrust of most math education in America. It's all about getting to calculus. How many people are taking calculus in here? I think I saw 5 hands, yeah? There was like 5 of you? Yeah, right. 5 of you. And that's a lot for one math class. Most students in Math 60 will never take calculus. Not that it's a good or bad thing, it's just one of those things. So, anyway. Welcome to the second half, last for a bunch of you. If you've had me before, not much has changed. Some stuff has changed. So you can take a nap for a little bit. I'll wake you up for the important stuff if you've had me before. This is just syllabus. We'll do a little bit of syllabus work today. And then I've got a little bit of a review activity that'll get your brains thinking about what you have to think about starting on Thursday. I didn't want to come back in guns blazing too much on the first day because I'm sure you guys are exhausted. It's freaking 8 o'clock in the morning. We all came anyway, bless you all. We'll take roll at some point, but we'll let people trickle in because I got a feeling that people are looking for parking and stuff like that. So the syllabus in all is online completely. The website's just cocc.edu/school. So you get there, you get here. Would you mind, Brandon, just getting one of those lights back there? That'd be awesome, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Just get a little bit. Perfect. I don't know what happened between my update from the fall into the winter. There used to be a grid around things, and there was some differentiation. I'll try to go back and put that in. But anyway, here's pretty much everything. There's where we are, what time we are. I changed office hours up a little bit from last term. They're almost the same as they were last term, which I know kind of sucks for you guys being here 8:15 because I don't have office hours again until 1 on Monday and 1 on Wednesday. But that's because I have a class right after this down in the library. So apologies for that. I also stuck an hour on Thursday if that works for anybody. I didn't used to do that, but I kind of wedged out a time so we can get an hour on Thursday as well. Hopefully that can work with your schedule. If not, email. Always. Email's up there somewhere. There it is. Email works great. The phone works great too. And they put, thankfully for the ADD folks, they put a little red light on the phone that lets me know I have voicemail now, which is fantastic. You walk in and see a red light, oh, red light. So check my voicemail. But email is probably the best way if you can't get to the office. I got the videos running. Hi. I got the videos running. Come on in. Join us. We just started.
Nice.
I got the videos. I'll be uploading them after every class, or every day after every class. I'll probably be uploading them around 1 during office hours today. We'll get those up as quickly as I can, so you can recap what we talk about in class. Other contact. There's a fax number up there. I wouldn't use it. I'm kind of fax challenged. I'm surprised fax machines even exist anymore, to be perfectly honest. It seems so strange. Whatever. They do. And if you have to use it, there it is. What else on this front page? The only thing that really applies to you guys is this column, right? Yeah. This column. So let's just click on course information, take us out to here. Prompt stat part the second. And the website, like I said, the website hasn't changed much since you guys had me last term. I changed a bit of the assessment. We'll talk about that as we get down. But I want to walk through this page and talk about the important parts, like on a daily basis, and the parts that you might never look at more than once. And and you guys that had me last term or before, chime in with like, you might want to look at this too, because sometimes I forget to say like, oh, this is important to look at. So just feel free to just chime in while I'm talking about certain pieces of this. How many of you guys, your eyes were drawn right to the yellow rectangle? Went to this page, good, that was intentional. That's why McDonald's uses red and yellow, their attention again. That's why that little red light on my phone. It's not green, it's not blue, that wouldn't get the ADD boys' attention. Yellow, I'm not calling it ADD, just saying that yellow gets your attention. It's been statistically shown. So that's the important stuff for the page. The schedule page at the top is probably the most important piece of the whole puzzle. This is where everything kind of lives for the term. This is where the videos from class will be posted. It's where all your assignments will be posted. It's where any class notes will be posted, things like that. It's where your homework sheet lives, things like that. So it's a bit of an eyesore at first. This is one thing I didn't get to revamp over the break. I wanted to, I just ran out of time. But it looks like a lot, but you only have to look at one column. And you guys are the far right column. There's your math. I've got all 4 of my classes in one place here. So you guys are way over here. So let me try to kind of explain what's going on. And like I said, if you had me before, chime in and be like, yeah, but that's not that as important as this. So I got it broken down by week. Week 1, week 2, with the dates on there. Each little rectangle block, date block, starts with the week number, and then underneath, if there's anything important going on, I put a red rectangle with links to them. Like on the first one, I just put a link to the library tutoring schedule. There are some stat tutors, like dedicated stat tutors, and there's also math tutors. I've been told the math tutors don't always like tutoring statistics. And we're just seeing some nods. Yes, that can happen. So I'm going to click on this. Let's see if they've updated it yet. Tutoring, Bend. We got, okay, this is good. So swim tight. All right, Bend. Let's see what we got in Bend. There's math, and there's stat. Okay, good. But is this updated? Can we tell? I can't tell. When was this updated? It doesn't say. I hope maybe it's updated already. But anyway, here's where you check to see where people are and what they're tutoring. Let's see if it's red means. I just have stat tutor. I just have math. We haven't have stat tutors yet. Not yet. We're getting there. We're getting there. But anyway, just realize that there is a difference between, especially with me. I understand that on the evals I saw about, I'd say 10 people from 105 to 244 last term mentioned you might want to sit with the stat tutors and explain to them how you do things. And oh, please, Jimmy, you said.
It says winter term on there, so.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, winter term, so we're updated. Beautiful, even though it feels like June. But I took that, and I thank you guys, all of you guys that did evals last term. Thank you very much. Both the SurveyMonkey one and also the one for COCC. It's great reading that information. I actually took 2 things directly and used them this term. We'll get into both of them today. The first one was talking to the tutors about how I do things, because the way I run class is kind of oddball. But it's interesting. I went down to visit my friend Dave, who's working on his PhD at Berkeley over the break. And he took a look at what I was doing, and he's like, dude, this is exactly what we're doing up here. This is exactly the kind of math we're doing with the graduate statistics students. not that we're not doing graduate level statistics in here, but the way we're doing it is in line with the way the graduate level statisticians are doing it, which is freaking rad. Like modeling everything, collecting real data, and well, anyway, we'll get to that today too. But it's still shaking the cage enough from the old ways to freak people out. So I started sending all the materials down to Kelly at the tutoring center and actually interacting with some of the individual tutors. So they now have my stuff and they're working through it and they're asking me questions about it. So they'll hopefully, fingers crossed, be better prepared when you guys go down there and have this strange, you know, what do you think about this? I don't know, x equals 2. No. What do you think about x equal 2? What does that mean? So they'll be better prepared, I hope. That's the first thing I got. It didn't happen much on the evals, but it happened enough to get my attention. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. That's why I love when you guys do the evals. Please, Michael.
Yeah, I noticed going down to the tutoring center, they have two different cans. One red green is for math, and then yellow blue is for statistics.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So whenever you go down there for a statistic tutor,
grab a yellow blue can. I did not. Thank you. I didn't know that.
Okay.
I did not know yellow blue. Okay, very good, very good. Please.
And you might actually want to call ahead, because even the hours that they have posted, they may or may not have a person that's actually staff.
Even though it says we've got a staff person here, okay.
Yes.
So maybe there's turnover. There could be. What were the hours again?
Because I think they're relying on some of the math folks to do the stats.
This is pretty. These are pretty awesome hours. I mean, that's all day and all night-ish. Yeah, okay, and that's Sunday. No Friday, it looks like, and no Saturday. We got Sunday. So thank you. Make sure to check to see if anybody's actually down there before you get down. You can always shoot me an email, and if I'm in the office, I'll get back to you rapidly. It's just that I'm not always in the office, but I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I check a bunch of times a day, and that's usually the easiest way to get questions answered because I kind of know exactly where we are in class, especially with a cup of coffee. But with the tutors, although they're coming around more and more to understand kind of the slightly new way we're doing things, it's still an adjustment for some of them. So, but yeah, call ahead. That's a great idea. I didn't think about that. Good. So anyway, back to the schedule page. Close this down. Anything in red, like week 2, is about dropping the class for a refund, like financial aid type stuff, things like that. And then you're into the week. You're into the week here. So you've got Monday and Wednesday, and you're off Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, of course. And whenever you see red, something to do. And you're going to see a lot of those this term. You'll understand why when we get to the assessment part, because I've changed up a few things there. Essentially, what we're going to do in class, or what we did in class, will be indicated in the day. So Monday, that's what we're going to do today. That's what we're going to do today, which is listed up there, essentially. And then Wednesday, right now, is quiz due, which might seem unfair, but we'll come back to that and you'll realize why it's not. And then if you go to the next week, notice that Monday is blank. That doesn't mean we're not doing anything. It just means that I don't like to give you guys a syllabus on the first day and go, here's what we're going to do Monday, and then next Wednesday, and then the next Monday, and then the next Wednesday. We discussed this last term. Why don't I do that?
You don't know where we're going to end up.
Right, exactly. It's too hard to force myself to follow that, especially because I never know what you guys are going to ask and where you guys are going to take things. I love it that you can take things. Sometimes you guys pick things up extraordinarily quickly, quicker than I thought you were going to. And sometimes you ask these awesome questions that get us sidetracked, but in the most perfect of ways. If I try to put a schedule up right now, it forces us to stick to that schedule, or it forces me to go back and recode this thing every day, which is also kind of annoying. So rather than that, I know what we're going to do in this course. And I'll show you. Up here, there's a homework sheet. We'll come back to this. But here is what we're going to do in the course. Those are the topics. Do you remember in 243 how many topics there were? You might not, it's okay.
It was 9, it was 3.
There were 9! Exactly right, there were 9. I think there were 9 here as well. Yes, I try to do that intentionally. I try to distill the course down so that in class we're doing 9 things, 9 or 10 things depending on the course and the subject matter. But 9 seems pretty awesome. A lot of those are acronyms and don't make a whole lot of sense right now. GOF. I mean, that'll all make sense as we go through. But that's the syllabus. That's what by the time the course is over, we'll be doing that. I just don't know exactly what we're going to do everything. That first one, estimating a population proportion, that might take us a good 2 days to slug through. And I like that, because it means that we're getting it. It means that we're taking our time understanding it, rather than rushing to cover something, and then catching up as we go. I'd rather stay there until it makes sense before moving on. So that's why things are blank. If I had to guess, which sometimes I do, we're going to start that here. It'll probably bleed over to here, and then we'll probably have it dialed in by the end of that, and then we'll be able to move over to here. So, and then there's a quiz due next, and we'll come back to all this stuff, and all these quizzes, dues, and red spaces will make sense in about 20 minutes. So anyway, then you just keep scrolling, and you'll see red, you'll see these things called projects, which we'll come into. Martin Luther King Day in a couple Mondays, stay home, sleep in, celebrate. Put the video of U2's song about it on here. Anyway, so that's why some certain days are blank. They won't be. They'll be filled in eventually. Does that kind of make sense? And this bad boy scrolled all the way down to exam week, which is down here. Cool?
Question for you.
Please, Tim.
Where'd your videos go from last term? I was gonna brush up.
They're still up. No, they're still up. They were up.
How do you, punch Sean rolls?
No, it's still there. Now here's the deal. Tim asked where the videos went from last term. They're still up, and if you send me an email between now and 1 o'clock, what I'll do is I'll send the links out to everybody. I'll send a class email to everybody.
That would be great.
For sure. The reason that they're gone, well, A, I had to clear, they're not gone actually, they're still there. The links are gone.
Okay.
Because I had to clear the page to put the new schedule page up. The playlists are still up in YouTube, but I created a new account for this term because I had that remember that false positive scare I had with YouTube last term?
Did they never fix it?
No, I never heard back from them. I kept emailing and saying, dudes, it's false positive. And I don't really care that they flagged something as a potential virus carrying video, whatever. What bothered me was they said, if this happens again, we might suspend your account indefinitely. And I'm like, because I have videos up there that have been up for like 6 and 7 years that have hundreds of thousands of views, and people are still using them. Like I had one kid send me a note last term, says, my teacher sends me to your channel all the time because she says you explain it better than she does. Okay, that's awesome, but I don't want that to go away. So it didn't go away. It's just that the links you can't find anymore. Send me an email, somebody send me an email, and I'll send the links out to everybody with the playlist links and tag in there. Kate, go ahead.
2 quick questions.
Please.
One, same textbook as last?
Same textbook, we'll get to that, yes, go ahead.
And then are you doing exams the same way?
No, that's one thing I'm going to change. Yeah, and that was the number 2 thing about your evals that I took away from last term. Thank you. We'll get back to both of that. Excellent. Was that the camera? No. Is it still recording, Christina?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Oh, it's beeping. Hi.
Hi. I noticed the quiz due was a hyperlink.
It was.
So what is
We'll
that?
come back to that. I promise. I promise we'll come back to that. Yes. That's the only one that's hyperlinked. Now, you might notice the other ones are not.
We're not there yet.
Like week 2, week 3, week 4. None of those are hyperlinked yet. Why?
We're not there yet.
Well, good. Why are they? Yes! Yes. Reminds me of that Microsoft story.
You don't want to feel there.
They're not uplinked yet, but why aren't they uplinked? Oh, GC.
We haven't learned it yet.
Well, that's true, but I might have an idea of where we're going to be, but I don't have an exact idea. Like, I know that eventually I want to give you guys a quiz on T intervals. And eventually I want to give you guys a quiz on the introduction to hypothesis testing. And I want to have quizzes on that stuff, but I don't exactly know where it's going to fall, so I haven't hyperlinked those yet. I'll give you at least a week's notice on those. So like, I'm going to start hyperlinking on a Wednesday for next Wednesday's quiz. So 2 days from now or 9 days from now. And we'll get into that momentarily when we get to the assessment, which was what Kate was asking about with the way I run things as far as grading. So that'll all make sense as we go, I promise. Thank you for the question. Anything else about the schedule page either not make sense, or do you guys want to chime in with, I know it's a little bit of a headache to look at, I apologize. That was supposed to get cleaned up over the break, but other stuff got cleaned up instead. I think it was more important, so I think we get done with this. But anything you guys want to chime in on? Decent? Okay, good. Let's pop back out of here. Let's go to the materials page. You probably won't have to go here all that much. Not nowhere near as much as you go to the schedule page. But this basically clocks down where your textbook is and what I kind of expect you to be competent doing right now. And when I say that, don't be like, oh my god, I forgot all 243, because we all did. We all forgot 243. I mean, it's been 3 weeks, right? Have you guys ever seen the forgetting curve? This is one of the most amazing things. So, let me. So, you've heard of a learning curve. The one thing I learned when I moved to Bend, I tried snowboarding one time. I'm a skier. And I tried snowboarding, and I gave up. Because apparently it's got a very steep learning curve, snowboarding does. Meaning, what?
You get it or you don't.
Well, I didn't hear that. I heard it takes a very, very long time to get competent at it.
About 3 times. 3 times of misery and you got it.
Well, that's for you. On average, I'm talking about now. Careful now. Careful. We can't throw an outlier in there with the mix and say that's the norm. Possibly. It would take 3.
Try more times.
No, I don't want to. I'm not really happy back on this team. Thank you. This guy, he's got an agenda. But the idea is there's also a forgetting curve, which was studied by a German psychologist, and I forget the guy's name now. But the curve is shaped like this. If this is 100% of something, now whether that's retention of information or whether that's a skill, whatever, and this is 0% of whatever that same thing is too. And this is time down here. And this is time down here. Essentially, time spent after learning how to do something. Like, so, in other words, at the end of 243 is right here. You walk out of that exam, and you're probably freaked out because it's an exam and everything, but you still feel pretty fresh. You know what a bell curve is, you know what a z-score is, you know what a binomial distribution looks like. Probably take an average if you needed to, right? Things like that. So you're pretty close to 100% of the information. And then what happens, if you stop thinking about it, is it does this. And then it begins to peter off. And what his theory was, you never go below 20% of the information. Even if you never look at it again, you're still going to retain about 20% on average. Now, some people will do more, some people will do less. But the idea is that this happens very rapidly. You lose quite a bit off the top very rapidly on average. And then it begins to slow down. This is called a logistic curve. It's really, really cool. It's got 2 asymptotes, a horizontal one here and a horizontal one there. And the idea of continually refreshing, what that has the effect of doing is essentially shoving this curve that way so that you never get too far away from 100%. So that's why I've kind of designed the course the way I do. Whereas if you walk in here going, I've forgotten all about 243, we all have. Because we have to have. Now, I intentionally didn't put an axis down here, like where 1 week is or 2 weeks is, because that can change depending on what you're studying and what you're being exposed. You know, if it's something like riding a bike, this could be extraordinarily long. If it's something like 243, it might be extraordinarily short. It might be like 2 days after learning it, you've lost half of it. That's quite possible. And I know that coming into the course, which is why I build in little reviews as we go, like today with the cards. That'll be a nice binomial experiment for us to do. And the idea is that I shove the curve this way, so that it looks like this, and then it looks like this. So in other words, I don't give you a chance to forget too much, because we'll always keep coming back up. And it starts looking like that instead. Kind of make sense? The forgetting curve. Beautiful. Beautiful. Anyway, so when I say competency with Math 243, what I'm really implying is a comfort level with going back and revisiting stuff that may have given you agita 6 months ago, right? At least at first. I think we came to peace with that pretty well in 243. But one thing I do like to harp on is there's a little bit of a symbolic thing up there in the top right. I put the chance of success in Math 244, given that you satisfied Math 243 prior, is about 95%. What I've noted is kind of small, I apologize, Stacey. So that top one there, the chance that you're successful in Math 244, given that you've satisfied Math 243 prior, is about 95%. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. I mean, the point of 243 is not just to prep you for 244, but it does a great job of doing just that. Underneath it says the chance of being successful in Math 244, given that you didn't satisfy Math 243 prior, is about 15%. You can pass it. You can do well in this course, but it's much, much harder if you didn't do 243 first. I've had students in the past take it both at the same time, and I've had 1 or 2 students get through it, and that's exactly how they described it. We got through it. They got through it.
What's your definition of satisfied?
Satisfied?
Yeah.
Being A, taking the course and passing it, and or B, being able to go back and review the topics and pick up what you didn't lose. 10 weeks is not a long time, right? 10 weeks is not a super long time. So even if you pass the course, you might not feel like you've got a strong grip on 243. That's normal. How many skills do you know perfectly after 10 weeks? None. I mean, hardly any, except for 2 snowboarding. Don't still get any better at 244. Kate, go.
They say the same thing.
Say that again.
They say the same thing.
Yeah,
No, the one
No,
with the line.
the little line across the top is one way of notating the opposite of.
Okay.
No, it's a numeral.
Let's just go with-
That's just, it's kind of an antiquated symbol,
Yeah.
but it's another way of saying not. It's another way of saying not. Compliment. It's a compliment, if you will.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. It's a bit antiquated. But I just told it to you, so it's okay. Right now. But the idea is, Tim, I totally get what you're saying about how do you quantify success in 243? How do you quantify success in anything? I mean, honestly, how do you know when you're a good skier, or a good snowboarder, or a good mountain biker?
You don't fall down.
That's one way to quantify it. You don't fall down, so you can successfully stay up. Say again?
Get back up.
You get back, or you get back up when you do fall down until you don't fall down anymore. Right? I mean, it's a tough thing to quantify. Just because somebody got an A in 243 doesn't mean they're comfortable with it. It might mean that they feared themselves through the course. They were so scared they learned in spite of the fact that they weren't enjoying themselves and they weren't comfortable with it. Or it might be that somebody got a C or a D in the course and understands it just fine, but just couldn't take certain assessments well, and therefore buried themselves grade-wise. So it's tough.
Because I almost got to see some of the
So I mean, that's the thing though. Those letters are just something I have to create to submit to COCC. I mean, the only way I would truly know if you guys had a comfort level with statistics is when me and my friend Dave, who I mentioned I went to visit and see working on his PhD, we have math discussions. We'll talk while running, or while biking together, or while swimming together. Well, we'll talk while swimming. We'll talk between classes. But we'll talk about things like, how can we lower this average, or what's the center of this, or how much variance. We'll have these discussions back and forth. That's the only way that true comfort exists, is when you can do it without thinking about it almost.
Right.
But 10 weeks is not long enough. You guys have heard of the 10,000 hour rule. Maybe you haven't. The 10,000 hour rule. It takes 10,000 hours of activity to truly master it. To truly master an activity. 10,000 hours. So what are you guys working on here? 40. You've got 40 under your belt in class from last term in 243, plus we'll give you what? Maybe 40, 50 more for all the outside of class work. So you're working on 100 hours. It's good. You're 1% there. But that's the idea. I know that. I haven't put 10,000 hours into it yet. I put 10,000 hours into my drumming, and that's a totally different ballgame. But we're all learning together in here. So I do know that going into this. Cool? Good questions. Good questions. Textbook is open source, meaning it's right here. Collaborative statistics. This is your textbook. You click on that bad boy, it opens up 700 pages of gorgeousness.
Oh, that's awesome.
There you go. Oh no, you're welcome. Textbooks, the textbook manufacturers have got a cornered market, which is ridiculous. Barbara and Susan, I've been in touch with, I've been trying to get in touch with them for a while now to thank them for this. I've also been adding videos to go along with some of these. We'll come back to that momentarily so you can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, everything's here. So when you see, let me pop out of here real quick and go back to the schedule page. When you go to this homework sheet, we'll just jump in here, population proportion. You'll see up here, you know, pages 394 to 395, 397 to 399. That refers to those pages in that textbook. Hopefully that makes sense. Please, Kate.
However, it's 10 pages off due to the intro thing.
That is true.
So
that is true.
Make sure that the page in the book matches the page that you're actually
That's true. So when you click on the link, page 1
is not page 1.
is the page 1 of the PDF document, not page 1 of the text. The text is 10 pages in. That's what Kate's saying. So if you scroll down, you'll notice, watch up here, you're on page 4, but that's a blank page. Somewhere we find page 1, which is
I
right
think it's
about...
on page 10.
Hang on, we're getting there.
Oh.
There it is. So, page 11, which is 10 pages up. So in other words, if you have to get to page 1 of the text, you have to type in page 11 in the search bar. You'll figure this out pretty quickly, because you'll forget that I said it, and Kate said it right now, when you go to your A&P class next. But you'll figure this out pretty quickly when you go to use the book. Yeah, you're always 10 pages off. But that's small price to pay for the awesomeness of having to pay 200 bucks for a textbook. Yes. Yes. I know there are certain issues. Some of the folks in evals, 1 or 2 people mentioned, we don't like the book that much. I get it. But what's amazing is, no matter what book I use, I always get 1 or 2 of those. So if I'm make you pay 200 bucks for a book and get 1 or 2 of those, or give you one for free and get 1 or 2 of those, let's do that. So it's a good one. I'm in the process of, like I said, updating it and fixing things in it. It's going to be pretty much a lifetime journey for me to do that. But it's a good one. Please.
It was also less than 20.
Oh, to print. That's right, Les. If you want to print this bad boy, which I think I have a link on here.
Yeah, I bought the book and I got it for like under $20.
Yep, there we go. So you can actually go right to. spelled physical wrong. I apologize. There's
Which-
H missing
yeah.
in there. There, 1796 with, I'm guessing, free shipping.
Less than 5 days, I thought.
Less than 5 days, it's there. It's a monster. It's 700 pages long. It's a monster. But you can print the thing for 20 bucks if you want to. The link's there if you want to grab it, by all means. Some people like having the book in front of them. Totally fine. Totally fine. Yeah, very affordable though. Extraordinarily affordable. I'm not going to edit. It is an open source text, which means I'm allowed to go in there and edit and change like text on the pages and stuff. I don't do that once the term starts. So any changes I would have made, I haven't. A, I haven't, and B, I wouldn't now. So if you bought the physical copy from this company, whoever does it, I guess it's from Barbara and Susan, I wouldn't then change the book online so that you wouldn't line up anymore. I'm going to leave it as it is right now. So by all means, very affordable, very nice. Cool so far? Making sense?
Do other people change it too? Other teachers?
They can, but I downloaded that copy and it's sitting on my server there, so they can't change my copy. And if I ever do change it significantly, I would then offer it for, I would talk to Barbara and Susan to figure out how we can then sell that version of it. So yeah, everybody could, if you go to, nah, I don't have a
But
link
it
to it
won't
here.
affect us.
No, not you guys at all. You guys have your own.
Yeah, what is this, freaking Wikipedia or what?
Essentially, yeah. It's amazing. Wikipedia always gets slammed for, you know, Wikipedia, you should never use Wikipedia for sourcing this. Yet it's the 5th most visited webpage on the world. And part of the reason is because it works. But the trick is you have to make sure that people that are editing it are actually capable and able and should be editing it. It shouldn't be any Joe Schmo going on there and being like, I don't like the way this looks, and then putting something incorrectly. I found a bunch of those on Wikipedia, a bunch of mathematical errors in certain pages. This is only being worked on by stat educators, so you're in good hands. Yeah, you. Okay, as far as technology, 2 kinds of technology we'll be using. One is your TI. I would prefer to teach this course in a computer lab. That would be my favorite thing to do. We can't, because there aren't enough of them, and there's too many of us. So, I do have you use Excel quite a bit. Like in 243, you guys have me in 243, last term especially. How is the Excel load? Decent. Decent?
And when you do it, you have instructions
Yeah,
step
it's
by
So
step.
it's
step by
followable, we can get in there. I want you getting your feet wet in there. I want you getting your feet wet in Excel because it's not the best statistical tool, I know that. But it is a tool you'll most likely be using. I worked with a guy over break working on a PhD thesis, and he was using SPSS, but he kept bringing stuff to me in Excel form. I'm like, why are we doing that? He's like, because everybody uses Excel anyway. SPSS is a statistical software package. There's SAS, SPSS, Minitab. There are a whole bunch of different programs. R, there's a program called R, open source. And they're all great, but I don't want to teach you those. Because number 1, you have to buy a license, which I don't want you to do. Number 2, you already have access to Microsoft Excel as students here. Number 2. And number 3, it's ubiquitous. Everybody seems to use Excel. And how many of you guys have used it? I mean, besides my class at 243. Yeah, exactly. Like half of the class has used it before, and the rest of you will use it now. And it's not, I don't leave you out there to dry. Part of the prereq of this course wasn't CIS 120 or 131. I'm going to teach you how to use it as we go. Okay, go!
With your instructions,
Yes,
you write them the way that you talk.
I do. Which can be good and bad.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
a lot of the times when I was struggling and couldn't figure something out, I noticed that if I, A, read it aloud, it makes more sense, or B, ask somebody else. I worked with this guy, and he was kind of like, Kate, you're an idiot, you're overthinking it.
You did you, Jack?
But just,
Thinking maybe.
yeah.
Overthinking is easy to yes.
Read it aloud because it's not written for you to just read, it's written as he talks.
And I do. I catch flack for that all the time with academic colleagues. Whenever I try to get papers published, I have to unshawn it and make it more academic. But I think it helps for education purposes. I do. They can be long because of that. And I try to incorporate more videos as time goes by, because that seems to help too. Being able to listen to me talk to you versus reading me talk to you. Reading me talk to you. That's a great sentence. This kind of makes sense though. But you hear what Kate said about read it aloud, but also work with somebody else. I can't emphasize that enough. Please do that. We'll come back to that more at the assessment piece of the course, but I cannot emphasize that enough as far as I highly encourage you to work together. Highly, highly, highly. You don't have to. I'm not going to make you do it. But I highly encourage it because it's amazing what you can learn from each other, including me, but also each other. It's amazing. I love watching you guys talk to each other and learn as you go. It's pretty awesome thing. And when we're not using Excel, which is in class, we'll use our TIs because they're there. and you have them. You've already sunk the money into it. And there are freebie. I know, Jack, you found a great little app on your smartphone. I put a link to an Android smartphone app up there. You can slap onto your phone if you have an Android. Is yours Android or is yours an iPhone?
Mine's an iPhone, and it actually comes with a.
Oh, you've got one.
Yeah.
Oh, tell me.
If you just turn the calculator sideways, it turns into a TI calculator with it turned. That's crazy.
Does it have all the stat add-ins and everything?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, badass.
I haven't used it yet.
And these things are changing awesome. These things are changing all the time. And I can't keep up with them. So by all means, keep checking the App Store for what's available. Because rather than, don't buy a TIE. I also have a link up here. Right, should point up here. You can put an 83 onto your PC laptop for free using that link. That's an option. You can bring a laptop to class. I have no problem with that. Use your smartphones, of course. Use online resources. Very often, if you need to run a hypothesis test of some kind, you can just go to Google and say, I need a 2-sample t-test. Boom. And you'll get one. You'll get millions of them, actually. So use other technology. Just in class while we're together, we'll end up using the TIs because it's what most of us have right now. Cool? All right. Let's talk about, we got a little bit of time. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Let's not. Let's take 5. We'll come back to assessment after the break. Can you pause the camera, Christine, if you don't mind? And Brandon, might throw the lights back on? That'd be fantastic, too. Let me do a quick check-in for everybody. Let's do this stretch. I always take 5 in a